As Joe and Debbie and I met to plan today, we talked about many things. We talked about how they met at work and how Joe saw Debbie for the very first time. And he knew right in that instant that she was just the specialest girl could be and was his girl. He knew that right away. Debbie didn't know that right away. She wasn't looking for a particular relationship, and so she was just being kind of relaxed about things, but Joe really knew he had found the person that he could adore in all the rich meanings of that word, to adore someone. Found Debbie to be a beautiful girl, and she's so beautiful standing there in her beautiful gown with those lovely flowers. But more than that, he found her to be intelligent and brilliant. Not just brilliant in mind, but also brilliant in personality. Her personality sparkles like a star that would attract Joe. As Joe got to know Debbie better, he discovered that she was well respected among her friends and her co-workers. They found in her a person that they could trust and rely on, a person that they wanted to be with. And as he got to know her more and more, he knew he wanted to be with her more and more. Joe said of Debbie that she's a person with all the pieces. She's got all the pieces, and the pieces are so well put together. So well put together that she melts his heart. Oh, come on, everybody. Isn't that wonderful? That's what Joe found in Debbie. What Debbie found in Joe, well, some of us are still trying to figure that out. But what Debbie really told me was that she found in Joe a partner with a wonderful sense of humor. See, that's why I knew I could say that. A person that she could discuss anything with, someone who is trustworthy and principled. And then, of course, Joe sang for her, and that was a wonderful moment for Debbie. We know the joy of singing, of making beautiful harmony with each other, and sharing that gift among friends, and how wonderfully that can enrich relationships. She also found in Joe someone who would adore her, who would court her every day of their relationship. From the very, very first day, he adored her and courted her. And how many days ago was that, Joe? 275. Gentlemen, can you do that? Can anybody else here tell me how many days it's been that you've known your wife? I can't. And my honey's over there, and she's probably thinking she's going to have to make me get a calculator out. Joe could tell us that it was 275 days ago that we met. That's adoring. Now, they selected a particularly difficult passage for me to think about today on their wedding day. That passage about a city on a hill, a house on a hill. Debbie decided that would be a wonderful theme for their wedding because the house is on a hill. But that passage isn't about this house on a hill, it's about a city on a hill. And that city is to be an example of compassion and love for all people. Jesus is speaking to his disciples and he's saying, the fellowship that you are forming has to be one that is so excellent that it would be like a shining city on a hill, an example to all people, and one that would attract all people to it, that they might know the blessings of God and God's grace. So you have selected for yourself a passage that says you will be satisfied with no other relationship than the most excellent relationship that you can form. That you'll be satisfied with no family except for the most excellent family that you can form as you unite your two families together. And so I have a couple challenges for you as you think about making that shining family that can be an example for us all. One of the most important things that we do in our families is to support each other and to give each other unconditional love. And if there's anybody else in this place that have teenage children like I do, you know how hard that is. Teenage children seem to attract our criticism. They always push the edges of things and make us stretch a little bit. But in your home, Joe and Debbie, I want you to nurture and support each other and these children with this kind of a formula. Let your criticism and your praises occur at a 1 to 5 ratio. A 1 to 5 ratio. We are ready to be criticized. We hear criticism the first time it's spoken to us. We get that message right away. But praises oftentimes are slow in getting into our hearts. And so for every time, Joe, that you want to say a critical word to any member of this family, I want you to stop and ask yourself, have I already given 5 praises? Have I already praised Debbie 5 times before I give this criticism? Have I already praised Eddie and Jenny and Kate 5 times before I give this criticism? I'm giving them ammunition, Joe. Debbie, the same is for you. When things are frustrating and difficult and you want something done and you want it done now and you want it done right and you're ready to say something off the very tip of your tongue, ask yourself a question. Where am I in the ratio of things? I want to be a supportive and nurturing and unconditionally loving person, and I have to do that with intent. If you do this, you will create a safe place for yourselves and for your children. And that will be a shining family on a hill.